United States government is authorized in what has become a reviewed advisory of the security situation, which early came out over the weekend. And he's authorized some of his employees for evacuation of and their families from Nigeria over potential terrorist attacks. The report came earlier today. The U.S. State Department announced the approval of the evacuation in its updated Nigeria travel advisory yesterday evening, I understand. Now, the United States and the United Kingdom had, in the weekend, warned of a possible terrorist attack in the capital, Abuja, especially aimed at government buildings, places of worship, and schools, among other targets, where the federal government has come out to. Well, okay, that is part of the statement of the advisory. Let me just read through again. There is an elevated risk of terror attacks in Nigeria, specifically in Abuja. Targets may include, but are not limited to, government buildings, places of worship, schools, markets, shopping malls, hotels, bars, restaurants, athletic gatherings, transport terminals, law enforcement facilities, and international organizations. Part of the statement coming from the United States Embassy in Nigeria. Of course, the United Kingdom also gave its own advisory. But the federal government, after the Federal Executive Council meeting today, had come out and said, look, it will not be stampeded by whatever any government decides to tell its people. The government was reacting to the recent advisory released by the United States today after the Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, declared that the U.S. acts within her rights to advise U.S. citizens to go home. But Nigeria will not be stampeded by such warnings or action. Take a listen to the minister.
This so-called travel advisory, as far as we are concerned as a government, we have in the last few months taken a firm handle of security. And what I said is that clickbaiting, which is you find a story which is not verified and you immediately share it, you can always cause panic. But I want to reassure both citizens, non-Nigerians, Nigerians living in this country, that the security agencies are on top of this matter. Of course, the terrorists would not stop to try to embarrass or intimidate government. But what I'm saying is that this country is safe and there's no cause for alarm.
You heard the Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, federal government responding to the terror attack threat and the alert given by the U.S. And some other foreign embassies here in Nigeria. Let's take a look at some of these issues and perhaps give some insider perspectives on how Nigeria can be safer and how we can maneuver what has become a challenging period in the lives of this country. I'm being joined tonight by Professor Usman Yusuf. Thank you so much, Prof, for joining us tonight on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Professor is being part of conversation on how innocent Nigerians that have been kidnapped have been released over the past few months. And I will be joined later on by a retired military officer, Mohammed Adeka. He will be joining us virtually. But let's begin the conversation. First and foremost, Prof, when you heard about these terror alert or advisory given by this foreign government about Nigeria, now we are hearing that they're planning to evacuate their employees. What comes to mind?
Right. So the advisory of this government is to their citizens. And I'm really surprised there is no synergy between this government and our government. And there seems to be an argument between our government and this foreign government that said that are given this advisory. There's really no reason to be. There's a problem. Well, our Nigerian government, if these governments have sources ours do not have, they need to find out and coordinate. We are still the same people. I don't think the American or the British or any government would want to see trouble in this country. Is there security issues in this country? Yeah. Where are they? Nigerian government need to find out and reassure our people that the government is doing its utmost best to allay all these concerns. But government screaming and saying it's uncalled for. There are issues, find out what those issues are, and then reassure your citizens that we're taking care of this problem. But we should not dismiss any little insecurity. You don't dismiss anything. Any little thing you take seriously.
So you can't blame this government for those advisories?
No, they are advising their citizens. No.
They were not supposed to be public documents anyways.
They were not supposed to. If they became public, then there is a heightened sense of urgency. What I'm surprised about is that there is no synergy between our government and these governments.
So, I mean, what do you make of what has become a rapid development within the space of when that advisory was given on Sunday and yesterday night? Now, it was for people to be cautious. The governments were telling their employees on Nigerian soil to be cautious of how they go about their businesses, whether or not where to go and all of that. Now, within 48 hours, it has come to evacuation.
Right. And that is concerning. This is not the first time American and other governments have given advisories to their citizens. This is not the first time. They've done it. But to get to the point where they are saying evacuate, we need to step back and say, what are the issues? Where are the problems? Let us see how we can handle the problems, and the Nigerian government to reassure its people, but not to dismiss any little thing.
You know, Prof, why I'm a bit curious is I'm not sure, and I stand to be corrected, the last time any government had advised to evacuate its employees out of Nigeria within the last 3 years.
COVID.
Okay, but COVID.
During COVID.
That is global.
Yes,
I mean, that was due to the pandemic, not
absolutely.
security.
Yes.
So if this is happening, is there something, because, and I'm asking you this question because you have stand in the gap at several situations, so you understand some of the dynamics of some of these issues. Is there something that we do not understand that is going on for these governments that have high-level intelligence gathering system and techniques for them to now say evacuate? And now what a lot of people may not also be aware is I've gone to find out what was on the website of, especially the United States mission in Nigeria. They're giving a very detailed advisory up to the point of telling those who are planning and telling them, don't visit Nigeria now. And these are the states that you can, these are the situations. They've broken it down to kidnappings, to some of the crimes that are prevailing in some of the states of the country. And they've given very strict advisory on those things. So what could have happened just within 48 hours?
Right, and for me, it will be presumptuous for me to tell you or anybody that I know what's happening. No, I don't. Not even in the government, the security agencies are privy to intelligence many people do not have. Just like foreign governments too. They are privy to intelligence that not many people have. So what I expected is synergy and cooperation between governments and talking, instead of this government saying, oh, no. But for them to give advisory to evacuate, I mean, the last time we had that was during COVID and the chaos we saw at the airport. But it is not unusual. I've seen it several times where there are alarming advisories on the websites of many of these Western governments about Nigeria. And I have friends out there, they say they are not coming to Nigeria because you think the end of the world is coming. But yes, there is heightened, whatever their intelligence is, that is making them give this advisory. We should not dismiss it. The Nigerian government should work with these governments and see what are the imminent threats and go ahead and reassure our people.
I have a feeling, and yesterday I applauded the men and women in the security agencies in the country, and I've not changed my mind in that respect. And I still give my salute tonight to the gallant men and women in the different security system in this country. They are doing a fantastic job within the scope of their brief and within what is available for them to fight the war that the nation is facing. But, I mean, we thought that things have doused, and at least in the last few weeks. We've seen a quieter situation in some part of the country. Things were way worse than these that we have experienced in the last few months. People were being kidnapped at free will, but these bandits were on rampage. They threatened the capital city. They even threatened the president, threatened the governor. But when this quiet came, man, you were involved. Give us an understanding of what really happened. We thought that maybe these guys are having a change of mind, or they are subdued. These bandits and some of these terror, because you told me on this program there is a handshake between this terror network in the northeast region and in the bandits in the northwest region. What exactly is going on?
So you are preaching to the choir about our gallant men and women. I mean, I've been involved with the rescue of these last 23 train passengers for the last 6 months. I am one of the biggest critics of this government, this president, and this military. But believe you or me, this last 6 months has given me an opening, a window, as to the gallant men and women we have in this military that are allowing us to do this work, criticizing them. I have seen. We've been to forests, we've been to places we could never have gone without the gallant men, especially the colonel that was embedded in our committee. The first one in with his troops, last one out. Be giving us cover, going into the forest at unholy hours. And so there's no way we could have done what we did evacuating this last 23 without the military. The military patience is not in their DNA. We were literally begging them, please, 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 allow us time to be able to evacuate everybody and go do what you're trained to do. It's given me a greater insight as to the challenges they're facing. And to be honest with you, our military is, to be honest, one of the best I've seen. I have seen a military that has made me prouder than before I went in. And in the last 6 months, and I'm telling Nigerians, let us temper our criticisms of our military with some prayers and praises. We've lost men just for this operation to evacuate our people. And these are men that are sons, brothers, husbands, and sons. In this country, I have seen we still have a lot more to do. There are all across the 6 geopolitical zones on fire. Our military are taking casualties all across, just like they are inflicting a lot more. Over the last couple of months, Shehu, what we have seen is a lot more action, especially in the corridor I'm aware of, these bandits in the northwest. I have seen the data, I've talked to the people involved. There has been a lot more action here, and things have quietened down compared to what they were before. But like I said, no general will go home and sleep. We got work to do. A lot more work to do.
So these bandits are not backing down?
And you know, it's not the bandits. The people that kidnap these people are not regular bandits. These are Boko Haram. So
really?
we have absolutely. So we have
we thought that there was a handshake between the bandits and the
we have bandit, we have ISWAP, we have Ansaru, we have Darus Salam, we have IPOB, we have ESN, we have them all over. Our military is stretched all across, deployed to all the 36 states of this country. All the 36 states of this country.
But these guys that are at the center of it all, they are predominantly Boko Haram.
So they are, the people that took this train hostages were Boko Haram. They said it themselves. They said it themselves. So they are not, yes, there is some marriage or some between them, but these are purely Boko Haram. So the military has a lot of work to do, and they know it. And they are very strategic in the way they are doing things now, a lot more aggressive than they were previously. We begged them. We were literally holding the hands of the military, pleading with them, let us allow us to evacuate the last. Because from the outset, to the military and to the president and commander-in-chief, sending the military for rescue and sustaining what people call collateral damage. Of 60% of those people killed was not an option, neither for the president nor the military. They would allow the negotiator, we, the non-kinetic component, to be able to evacuate. And I applaud the president for his unwavering support and for his patience. And I remember I told you I'm one of the biggest critics. But this president, without his support, this operation would not have gotten.
So give us a sense, I mean, of what you make. One will perhaps think that the government has said, well, this is a signal of a terrorist network that is dying, that is frustrated, that is attacked on all sides, and that is why they are targeting soft target, and that is why they are doing what they are doing now. Is that the case?
I mean, what target can be softer than innocent travelers traveling on a train? There cannot be a softer target than this. None. So these are innocent travelers. On the 28th of March, 8 were killed in cold blood. 63 were taken hostage. So what can be softer than this? So we are talking what's their name? Boko Haram and ISWAP in the northeast, feeling the heat of the military and are spreading and metastasizing across the country and trying to find niches. So you find them, and they are small. They are all over the place. It's not an army that they are facing. This is what they call a different kind of fight than what our military, conventional military, but they're getting better. Trust me, we'll get to them. It's just a matter of time. But I've said it before, and I will say it again. None of all these conflicts all across the 6 geopolitical zones will be won by the military alone. There's a role for the military. There is no military solution to any of these conflicts. Never in the history of warfare, none, have conflicts like this been won on the battlefield. That is where this template that the military allowed us to come in and the president gave his approval showed that you can marry the kinetic. And the military did not stop doing what they do best. The kinetic and the non-kinetic, marrying them together and get what we got.
Well, if the information and intelligence available to these foreign governments is anything to go by, it means that the insurgents, the Boko Haram network, had successfully moved down. They've come down south from the northeast region. What is the implication of that?
Right, so they are all over. So you have Boko Haram spilling here, and it's not that they come with their army, just a motley of them trying to do this, and then bandits going all over the place.
Are they coordinated?
Who, the Boko Haram? Yeah. Boko Haram has always been, and ISWAP has always been. But the bandits are all over the place. They are just a band of criminals without religious ideology, just wanting to do their criminality. What we have said consistently when we went into the forest, let's get to them before this Boko Haram come with their twisted religious ideology, marrying with these bandits that are motley, that the forest is their home, and they are fearless. And we don't want to see that.
What can we do now?
What we need to do is, I think, intensification of the kinetic, marrying that with the non-kinetic.
Those who disagree and say, let us flush these guys out.
Right, well, then why didn't we do it over the last 13, 14, 50 years? We've been fighting Boko Haram. Like I said, banditry is what I know. I don't know Boko Haram, I don't know IPOP. Banditry is what I know. We've been to 8 states in this country. What we found out is banditry is essentially a social problem, not a military problem. The source of that cancer, I'm an oncologist, the primary of that cancer is in Zamfara, and it's spreading all over. And what we are going is going to the spread instead of going to the primary, which is Zamfara. We can only take care of banditry if we go back to Zamfara.
Professor Usman Yusuf, thank you so much indeed for your time.
Thank you very much.
And the insight that you shared tonight.